What's going on, everyone? So we got some news earlier today in regards to Jarred Vanderbilt. He has been out with a heel injury. So according to Jovan Buha, Jarred Vanderbilt was re-examined by Laker team doctors on Thursday. His left heel bursitis is improving. Vanderbilt will be re-evaluated by the Lakers medical staff in 2 weeks. So Jarred Vanderbilt, he has missed the first 2 games of the season for the Lakers. He originally, couple weeks ago, was supposed to be ready to go for opening night against the Denver Nuggets. Darvin Ham talked about it and said, it was just a precautionary thing. Same thing with guys like Gabe Vincent, that, hey, they just want to be cautious. It's preseason. He should be good to go. Then we find out that he's not playing on the Denver game and that he is listed as day-to-day. And now we are getting news that, hey, he was reevaluated. We're going to reevaluate him in 2 weeks. Now, I still think that a lot of this is precautionary. It's early in the season, right? If this was like the playoffs or something like that, he'd probably be out there playing, but it's the first couple weeks of the NBA season. Why run the risk of him having a serious, that turning into something serious or more serious than it already is? And now we lose him for, months or maybe the entirety of the season. I'm okay with them kind of taking it slow and bringing him back. It's the whole point of all the depth. That's the whole point of the Lakers roster that we currently have. Couple problems, though. One is his defense has been much needed the first 2 games and is very likely going to continue to be needed because the Lakers season does not lighten up for a while. Right, so we just played Denver, in which we could have used him mightily, especially against like Jamal Murray, even KCP. KCP dropped 20 in that game and was lighting us up. We could have thrown Vando on him and just completely neutralized him if we wanted to. But then you have, the Phoenix Suns matchup, and Kevin Durant was torching us. I mean, he was going to town on us, right? And it would have been nice to have Jarred Vanderbilt, who we could have thrown on him over the course. So far, we've been going with Cam Reddish in that sort of Jarred Vanderbilt role, which Cam Reddish deserves credit. He has been great, right? He was doing really good against Jamal Murray, even against Kevin Durant. He was defending Kevin Durant about as well as you could. It's just Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant. That third quarter, he was doing everything he could. The Lakers are doing everything they could, right? And KD was just hitting some shots. But it's just Jarred Vanderbilt's just another body, another elite body. His size, his length, his physicality, his foot speed. He just has all the tools to be just an incredible defender. And he is arguably the best on-ball defender in the entire league. The dude is ridiculous, right? So to have him in these matchups. Next up, we got the Sacramento Kings. It would have been nice to have Jarred Vanderbilt to throw on De'Aaron Fox, right? Now we probably throw Cam Reddish on him. And again, Cam Reddish should be able to kind of hold his own a little bit, right? But it's just, again, another guy. After that, we have the Clippers, who have beaten us, 11 straight times? And they have Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, even Russell Westbrook, right? I know a lot of people aren't super high on Russ, but Russ can get it going, and his speed and his ability to just get downhill, right? Are our guards going to be able, is D'Lo and Reeves going to be able to stay in front of Russell Westbrook? Probably not, right? And it's just, it would be nice to have Jarred Vanderbilt in these games, in these moments, but hey, guess what? We don't have him, and we're going to have to figure it out, right? Now, the Lakers did an excellent job defensively in that fourth quarter. Right? You saw them just turn on that switch and really lock down. The fourth quarter Lakers, that defense, that was the number 1 defense in the league type Lakers. That's the Lakers defense that we are expecting and hoping for. The offense needs to start falling. And you can make an argument like Jarred Vanderbilt's probably not helping much in the offensive department. Now, who knows? Maybe he is just that much better shooting the 3 ball. We don't really have a lot of sample size. We have 1 game, and in that 1 game, Jarred Vanderbilt shot 2 of 3 from 3, right? And he missed his first one. So after he missed his first one, he made his next 2. So you got to give him credit. And that's 66%. But again, that's on 3 attempts in 1 game. It's not really a full sample size to know if Jarred Vanderbilt is really turned it over or not, right? Because Jarred Vanderbilt, even last year, as poorly as he shot the three ball, he had games where he knocked down 3 or 4 threes and was like, 3 of 4 from 3 or whatever, right? So it's something that we hope can happen, but the other guys need to start lighting it up offensively, right? Like, we have way too much offensive talent to be struggling the way that we're struggling, even shooting the basketball, right? Like, we have too many guys that are good shooters that should come around at some point, right? And so if we can pick it up on the offensive side and we can play that level of defense we saw in the fourth quarter against the Phoenix Suns, then we're going to win a lot more games than we're going to lose. And then we will be a legit contender. It's just putting the whole package together. It's only the second game of the season, so I'm not like super concerned and super worried yet. But there is a sense of like, hey, we have a lot that we need to work on. We got to start heading in that positive direction, right? There was a lot of good in that fourth quarter against the Phoenix Suns, right? That you need those type of games, that adversity. You're down 12 going into the fourth quarter. Kevin Durant just looks unstoppable, right? Like, what are you doing? Are you laying down and just calling it quits? Or are you going to pick it up and go, no, let's go win this game? And it took some, LeBron James heroics down the stretch, but it wasn't just like LeBron. I mean, Gabe Vincent was getting after it on the defensive side of the basketball. You had Christian Wood, remarkable defense on Kevin Durant. Christian Wood deserves a world of credit. But I've talked about this. I talked about this all offseason, and I had tons of people tell me I'm delusional. Well, guess what? Christian Wood has proven me right so far these first couple games, and even in the preseason. He's been getting after it defensively, rebounding the basketball, doing all the things that I said he would do. People just only know the information that is being, pushed when there's a specific agenda, rather than actually watching and following Christian Wood. If you actually watched and followed and were familiar with Christian Wood, you'd know that this wasn't a far-fetched, out of the blue type performance. When did Christian Wood start developing this stigma? Towards the last season of his Houston tenure, when he got suspended from the team for sticking up for another player. Him and that other player got suspended for, a detriment to the team or whatever. Ended up getting suspended from there. And then Dallas last year, in which he was the second leading scorer on that team. And on top of being the second leading scorer, he was one of their better defensive players. The problem is they wanted him to be Anthony Davis, and he's not. Christian Wood is not ever going to be Anthony Davis. He's never going to be Jarred Vanderbilt, but he's good enough on the defensive side of the basketball that when you're on a good defensive team, he can be very good. When he doesn't have guys getting blown by every possession. I mean, Dallas is terrible defensively. They're terrible defensively this year, right? And then when Christian Wood is the last line of defense, and he's on an island, and he has, to basically have to defend 4 guys at once now, every possession, because Luka's getting blown by, and, Hardaway's getting blown by. Everyone's just getting blown by. Yeah, of course he's going to be terrible defensively. It's not his game. But when you have him surrounded with guys that can defend, and he only has to worry about the guy that's in front of him, then he can be a serviceable defender. He can defend out on the perimeter. It's something that I talked about heavily. I did a whole video breaking down Christian Wood's defensive accolades and achievements and just everything, right? Go watch that video. I talk about it and defend Christian Wood and break it down to the statistics and all of that stuff for you. Go watch that video because Christian Wood is a good defensive guy. Now you have Christian Wood. You have Cam Reddish, who has shown that he has the ability to be a great defender. You have Anthony Davis. Gabe Vincent has gotten after it defensively. He's been solid defensively. D'Angelo Russell even has been excellent defensively by like his standards. Again, he's not Kawhi Leonard out there, but he's been great. Disrupting passing lanes, getting after it, holding his own, moving his feet, being active, having active hands, like all of those things. He's been great with that on the defensive side. You bring in Jarred Vanderbilt, and it's like, uh-oh. Now this Lakers team there's the best defensive team in the league. The Lakers have the defense. They got to put together the offense. And, I I hope Jarred Vanderbilt has improved on the defensive side of the basketball. I hope that on the offensive side of the basketball, I hope Jarred Vanderbilt has improved in that regard. Because if we're going off of last season, I mean, Jarred Vanderbilt's our worst offensive player, right? So, hopefully all of the hard work that he put in this offseason translates. The other concern that I have, not really a problem yet, but the other concern that I have is Jarred Vanderbilt basically has sat this entire time, right? And I'm assuming is probably not getting 100 shots up a night. And therefore, does he come in and is completely rusty and just not able to hit the shots that he might have been able to otherwise? Does it take him time to get back into the rhythm and the flow, right? Because, when you're shooting, 1,000 shots a day, and then over the course of 2 months or whatever, and then you go into a game, and that translates, and you go 2 or 3 from 3, it's like, okay, if you keep playing, then you're probably going to keep riding that momentum, right? Because now you're in rhythm, you have your mechanics down, you have everything that you need to be a good shooter. But then you go, 2 months without playing again, or a month and a half without playing again, and it's like, does that kind of disappear and go away? Because it's not like he was a great shooter prior, right? To where, you see a guy like Klay Thompson or something like that, right? He's such a great shooter, and it is just, he can shoot with his blindfolded at this point, right? So it's like, he could sit an entire year with an injury, come back, and immediately pick up right where he left off shooting the basketball-wise, because he's done it his whole career, and he's done it his whole life, and at this point, it's just muscle memory. It's there. He just needs to pick it up and get a couple shots up, and boom, there it is. Where Jarred Vanderbilt, that wasn't the case, and now he's taking all this time off, and now he's going to come in. It's just, that's a concern that I have as well. But anyway, just wanted to give you a little update, go on a little rant there about Christian Wood, because I just think he deserves the love. I saw all the talk about Christian Wood and just, he sucks defensively and blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? So far, he's looked fantastic. And everything that I've broken down and spoke on about Christian Wood, everything's been right, So, I don't know, call me crazy, but usually when a player has a history of something and they've done it pretty much the whole career, I don't know, it's kind of crazy that all of a sudden they are doing that. And it's like, oh, wow, I'm so surprised he did that. It's like, I'm not. He's done it since he was at UNLV. Like, what do you mean? This is the guy he's always been. But hopefully his offense starts coming into his own. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? You disappointed about this news? You okay? You're like, we'll be good. Ride the storm. But look, he's a huge piece, right? I don't know if he's the difference in us beating Denver. I do think he would have helped more in the Suns game, right? Because Kevin Durant was our only real issue, right? After the first quarter where we kind of tightened up the rebounding and stuff, and then it just kind of became the Kevin Durant show, and he was just torching us all game. Where I think Jarred Vanderbilt would have helped in that regard. So, instead of him scoring almost 40, instead of him scoring 39, maybe he gives us like 30, and then we win by like double digits or something. Like, just a thought. But the Denver game, I don't know how much, if he was the deciding factor or not, but I do think he would have helped a lot. But anyway, again, love your thoughts and opinions, however you feel, down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Stay up to date all season long. Appreciate you. See you all in the next one.